Okay, hi everyone. In this video, I'm doing a photo critique for Felix Ockey. Ockey? O-C-K-E-Y. Anyway, I'll introduce him. He says, "Hi, Mr. Dom. Good work. My name is Felix, and I consider myself as getting towards the semi-pro point in my photography. I've been watching your videos since 2009 and have loved all the blah blah blah. I am from the United States, and two of my pictures were taken with the D60, the Nikon D60, and others with the Nikon D300. Good choice of cameras, which I'll explain in the description of each picture below. My pictures ain't that great, but I don't get feedback hardly ever by people who actually know about photography. So I want to see what you would say. I hope you enjoy these photos. Here's my Flickr account. Cool, yep. Yeah. And I give you permission to use these shots. Fingers crossed. Oh yes, I give you, Don't Bother, all permission to use my photos on YouTube channel, blog, and critique for use. Thank you. Okay, that's what I needed. Okay, so the first shot we've got is called Erwin Niles, I think. No, it's called Levi Perwitt. Okay, Levi Perwitt taking the Nikon D60 with this 35mm f1.8, settings f1.8, ISO 400 at an 80th of a second. Photo taken in the Nile district of Fairmont, California. Okay, first off, okay, so Levi Perwitt. Okay, cool, so lots of noise. So even you look at this picture and you kind of go, oh, ISO 400 and the D60 really struggled. But I do kind of like your editing. When I first opened it, I thought, oh, this is going to be far too photoshopped. But it's not. It's kind of cool. It's an interesting look. You've got him just off center, looking at the back of a Beatles album in a record store. Which is kind of a colourful record store and a colourful album, but yet you've desaturated everything, so it's really kind of muted colours. It's quite interesting. I quite like it, but it needs more. It definitely needed more to it. Maybe more of a prop in the background or something else. Because first of all, I'm slightly confused by there's a reflection on that poster there, so that's where. If you'd been able to get rid of that reflection, if you just slightly change your angle, that would be quite good. But yeah, otherwise it's okay. It needs to say more to me. I don't know, Levi Perwitt. I don't know if that's his name or if that's something else. I have no idea. Or is that the type of jeans that he's wearing? Yeah, and he's looking at the back of the album, and you know, is he being happy, or is he confused, or is he's not really kind of showing anything? I don't understand this one. Okay, next one. Okay, so this one is your long exposure photo. Cool. Yeah, you've used a very small aperture, so like maybe an f. Oh wait a minute, you've probably told me here. Long exposure. Yeah, f22. You can tell that it's a small aperture by the fact that you've got this great star shape coming out of the light here. So that's what you can always tell. If it's a very small aperture, you usually get great star effects from your lights. And he says, yeah, it was f22, ISO 800, 20-second exposure, plus a plus 0.7 exposure bias. Is that in after editing, or is that... Because if you've done manual everything, if you've done a manual f22 and manual ISO and manual exposure, then the exposure bias doesn't actually do anything. That's just really if you've got any of the automatic settings like aperture control or shutter control or program mode. So if you're saying a 1.7 positive exposure bias, then that maybe you've done that in Photoshop afterwards, maybe. Notes on picture, this was before I knew much about taking long exposures and the wrong ISO and f-stop, but I can't believe it came out great for what I knew back then. Well, no, I think it looks very good in terms of what you're getting. But what I can't see is, what is it? What is it a photo of? Yeah, it's a long exposure. I'm seeing there's a kind of a light trail over there. What does this say? Is that a P or is that an A or something? I know it says Pacific, but Pacific communication, connection, I don't know. So the image, although you've yeah, that's absolutely fine. I'm just not really it's not showing me what the image is about. Is it about a place? Is it about the light trails? Is it about just getting stars? It doesn't really tell me anything. I need to know. I need to know. Next one. Okay, this one is called Scant Landfall. So I'm guessing this is a fall. I'm guessing that's kind of where you have waterfalls, rivers, and stuff like that. And it's a portrait of a guy where you've obviously used flash to the side. Yet it's a lovely day, lovely sun setting or maybe sun rising. I'm guessing probably sun setting. Kind of shot there. And he's sitting on a rock, and you can see the flash is definitely to the side, and on the face you've got that pretty much split lighting there, but with a rim light from the sun. Nice, like that. Okay, good technical stuff. He's over to the left, he's in the side third. Good, okay, let's see what you've said about this. This one is taking the D300 and the 50mm f1.8 settings at 5.6, good, ISO 200, good, sort of 1 divided by 1/200th of a second, good, with a -2 bias, and the SV600 has a +2 bias. Okay, so if you're on an automatic setting, yeah, so like aperture mode, let's say you're on aperture mode and you did it f5.6 and you did a -2 bias, that's obviously giving you a faster shutter speed of 200th of a second. And if you put your flash on top, it gives, if you left it there with a -2 bias, exposure bias on the camera, then the flash will also be a -2. But if you put a +2, then it'll be the correct strength. And he says, which I learned from you. Okay, cool. Ah, brilliant. Taken in somewhere in America. Okay, yeah, so correct. You've done it right. The -2 exposure balance has given the background a nice oversaturated and lower tone to it completely. I mean, well, if we hadn't changed anything on the flash, then he would also be dark and not that bright. He would have still had flash on him, but it wouldn't have been as bright and given the good exposure here. The only thing I would say is that, okay, there's a couple of things. One, the flash is a little bit too much on the side. It's also pretty much straight on the side from him. It's not coming down on him. It is, if you look at the shadow, it's going shoom, straight across. It's better to have, if you could have, I don't know where you could have put it, but if you could have had it higher up, shooting down the way, that would have been, I would say, a bit better. Yeah, because it is very much, it's probably over kind of here. And if you had it up there, I would say that'd be a little bit better. And if you could have a little bit more in front of him, because it really is kind of split lighting. Like you can see the shadow just going straight down the middle of his neck. Split lighting is a bit of a tough one to do. Oh, you can even see the catchlight in his eye, which is good. Also, another thing that might have been good is if you put a warmer gel on it, because he is slightly blown out, and that is very white. So maybe if you had one of those, because it's such a warm light coming from the sun and coming from the background, that is probably a CTO, color temperature orange, like +2 on the background, and if you put maybe a +1 on it on the flash, then that would mean there's less of a white orange, and it'd be more softer orange and more orange, and that'd be a bit better. The other thing is his pose. So as a model, isn't that great, because we're looking straight down the middle of his pants. Not cool at all. And trainers, just like, they don't look cool. So yeah, in this one, I would say, oi, get your model to sort himself out. Get him to maybe look something a bit more fashion-y, I would say. And maybe just position him a little bit more towards the light. So he's maybe facing that way and the light's coming towards him and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, just having man position with legs akimbo and then just seeing this like kind of target point straight towards his balls not doing it for me. Not doing it for me at all. But technically, good. Well done. Next one. Squishy. Okay, so this one's called Squishy Light. Okay, interesting. Okay, from a ground point of view, with a very, very wide angle lens, probably a fisheye. Let's see what you said. Taken with the D300, cool, and the Pro Optics Bauer / Samyang 8mm fisheye. Okay, so if any of you don't know, in South Korea, I think, there's a company called Samyang which make lenses. They're usually all manual focus, so you have to use your hands. And they've got a really hugely wide angle one, which is a fisheye, which is 8mm, which is just huge. And it's people. I know quite a few people have done it, and I know somebody that uses that with a ring flash, and he gets really cool photos. And it's hella cheap compared to the Nikon or Canon or whatever equivalents. But it is manual focus, so you've got to worry about that. So yeah, let's see what he says. So it's with that, and it's got different names on depending on which email or which buying sites you go on, whether it's ProOptic or Bauer, like me, or Samyang. Okay, I got it a few days ago, setting f5.6, ISO 640 and a 30-second exposure, long exposure. Okay, so you can tell the ISO is high. See if you have a long exposure and you have your ISO up. Like here you had it at 640. That confounds the noise. And even in this photo which you've sent me, and it's been obviously compressed and whatever, there's still lots of grain going on in the image. There's just a lot of noise everywhere. So yeah, if you're doing long exposures, get the ISO right down. Get it right down to 200. If you want to do longer than a 30-second exposure, you have to get one of these little clickety-click things. You do not need to go and buy one of these, expect like £50 worth of electronic remote control kind of crap. All you need is one of these and a camera which has this bit. I can't remember what it's called, but that goes into the front of the camera. I don't even have my cameras with me. And you just click that down, and it stays there. And then after you've done 40-50 seconds, you just go, and then that means it opens it or closes the shutter again. And that was only about £9, I think. There's two parts of it. There's this bit, which you can get from anywhere. Then there's this bit, which is dependent on the type of camera and which bit goes into the camera. So yeah, if you want to do longer exposures with a lower ISO, use one of these. Don't get one of those fancy remote things. They're just useless. Or it's just expensive. Okay, but yeah, it is squishy light. But yeah, what is it? Where am I? Is it a road bridge? Is it a walk bridge? What are these funny lights? There's nothing really of interest in that image. It also looks a little bit squint as well. I think it looks like the right hand side is higher than the left hand side, or you're not totally central. Oh no, yeah, if I look really far, you can probably see there is a bit of a road in the background there. But do you know what would be really good? See if you just got something and put him in the middle of the road, like Mr. Hippo. If he was just sitting there in the middle of that image. Just something else. At the moment, it's a picture of tarmac. That's all I'm saying. With some funny lights outside, with lots of noise. Okay, next one. Okay, this next one is called TJ Ford, and I'm guessing that is a Ford car. And maybe this person is TJ. Okay, cool, so that's a big truck. You've gone from a lower position, which is cool because that means the car looks bigger and also makes him look bigger as well. So it is kind of like a power photo. The only thing I would say is that you're probably a little bit too close because you don't actually see any more of the car. Like, you just see this random line coming out over here, and I'm guessing that is the top of the windscreen, or is it in America windshield? So yeah, maybe if you were a little bit further back and a little bit higher up, then you see more of the big monster car that it actually is. Let's see what you're saying is it's taken with the 18 to 55 at 18 minutes. Yeah, so you've gone wide angle and you're pretty low. F5.6, ISO 640, 1/60th a second, and you had your SB600 left of camera. And I don't know what power. Okay, yeah, so you've got, again, good work. Off-camera flash. I'm always a big fan of that. Pardon me. And yeah, I'm always surprised how in America you don't actually need to have a number plate on the front. Yeah, over here you have to have a number plate front and back. So it's always quite clear you just have your own kind of advert going on the front of your car. So yeah, the only thing I would say is change the angles and maybe be a little bit further away. And again, maybe if you just had the flash a little bit higher up, because at the moment it really is straight on to the guy. If you look by his shadow on his nose, if that shadow could just move down a little bit, then that would look just a little bit. It looked more like the moon shining down, or like a helicopter spotlight shining down onto him, rather than just maybe a light right to the side. But yeah, that's cool. Okay. And is there any more? One more. Erwin Niles. Okay, this was meant to be your first one. Okay, so on this one is Erwin Niles. I'm guessing this is the guy, and I'm guessing he is a skateboarder. Yeah, so this is cool. I like this one. I like this one a lot. You've got direct sunlight coming straight down, and it's him probably at a place which he grinds on or sessions the ramp. I don't know. Nile. Oh, maybe he's not called Erwin Niles. It says Niles Stowe. So, I don't know. I don't know what that means. Hold on. Let's see if we've got your details. Where is it? D300, 35mm, f1.8, ISO 360, 1/8000th of a second. Photo taken in Niles district of Fairmont. Okay, don't know what that means. Okay, yeah, I like that. I like that's cool. The only thing is, you've got this weird kind of sheep, cows up on the hill over there. Also, if you use a slightly deeper depth of field, it's like instead of f1.8, you went for f2.8, for example. This would be probably sharp. The background would still be nice and blurry, but that would be more sharp. You've also seen there's quite a lot of chromatic aberration, like green and red bits all around it. But yeah, no, he's in good sharp focus, I think, or maybe that's just my screen. And he's well exposed, so yeah, that's all looking good. I like how he's looking into the picture, so he's looking that way. But yeah, just distracting stuff over here, like you've got a lamp there, and stuff. His board is slightly overexposed there because that's probably the sun just reflecting directly off it. So yeah, that's... It's a bit wimpy. That's the only thing. He doesn't look like a tough, mean skateboarder. He's like holding his hands, they're kind of crossed over the skateboard. He's kind of looking pensively over to the forward. Doesn't look angry or anything. And he's just kind of like sitting there, legs crossed. Yeah. If I was shooting a skateboarder, I really want to show some more attitude, some more kind of like going on. So there, again, it's a good photo, but more could be done. More could be done. Definitely do more. Work with the model, get different poses, get him giving it a bit of attitude, a bit of yeah, whatever, I don't know. I think that would definitely enhance the photo. So, okay, good work there. That was Felix Ockey. Okay, whatever. Hope it helps. Cheers. Bye bye. Oh yeah. Right. Oh, half 11, was it half 11? Oh god. Yeah, that should be fine. Yeah, no, I've just kind of just woken up. But okay. Do you have any coffee in your house? Yes, good. Get me some coffee. Cool. Right. Okay. Well, I'll see you at half 11 then. Okay. See you. Bye. Bye.